Hey y'all, it's Cam again. I know it's been a few days. I've been just working on other stuff, and then I got bit by a bug on the back of my leg, so wasn't feeling all that great yesterday. But I asked ChatGPT to just give me an overview of Genesis chapter 7 through 9 with an infographic. And the reason I started this is just a way of getting myself back on track with the Bible and stuff like that, and maybe it'll help somebody else at some point. But anyway, I don't want Charlie Kirk's death to be in vain. I know people are arguing back and forth on that, and they hate each other, blah 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 blah. Because nobody can have a discussion nowadays, or if you disagree, then you're just like a terrible, terrible person. So anyway, and you're not worthy to live and that kind of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, that's just the climate we seem to be in right now. But anyway, introduction. So Genesis 7 through 9 tells a dramatic story of the flood, one of the most well-known events in the Bible. It describes the judgment of God against widespread human corruption, his salvation of Noah and his family, and the renewal of creation and the establishment of a covenant promising never again to destroy the earth by flood. These chapters are pivotal in showing God's justice, mercy, and ongoing relationship with humanity. And then chapter 7, the flood begins. God commands to enter the ark. God tells Noah, a righteous man in his generation, to enter the ark with his family. He's commanded to bring 7 pairs of clean animals and 1 pair of unclean animals, as well as birds, to preserve life on earth. This distinction between clean and unclean animals foreshadows later sacrificial laws in Leviticus. Noah's obedience is emphasized repeatedly. He does everything as God commanded him. The flood waters come. After 7 days, the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of heaven open, causing rain to fall for 40 days and nights. This imagery suggests a cosmic undoing. The separation of waters in Genesis 1 is reversed, returning the world to a watery chaos. Global destruction. The waters rise, covering even the highest mountains. All creatures outside the ark perish, animals, birds, and all humanity. This is a comprehensive judgment meant to cleanse the earth of violence and corruption. Preservation of Noah. Noah, his family, and the animals in the ark are spared. The ark floats on the waters for 150 days, symbolizing God's protection in the midst of judgment. Chapter 8, the flood subsides. God remembers Noah. This phrase did not imply God forgot Noah, but signals divine action on his behalf. A wind blows over the earth, and the waters begin to recede. Another echo of Genesis 1, where God's Spirit hovers over the waters of creation. 2, the ark comes to rest. After many months, the ark comes to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Noah sends out a raven, which flies back and forth until the waters dry up. Then he sends a dove 3 times. The first time, the dove finds no place to land and returns. Second time, it brings back an olive leaf, a sign that the earth is drying and vegetation is returning. And the third time, it does not return, showing the land is habitable again. Noah leaves the ark. After more than a year on the ark, God commands Noah to come out with his family and animals. This is the new beginning, a kind of second creation. Noah's sacrifice. Noah builds an altar and offers burnt offerings from the clean animals and birds. The Lord smells the pleasing aroma and promises never again to curse the ground because of man, even though human hearts remain inclined toward evil. Chapter 9, the covenant and renewal. God's blessing and command. God blesses Noah and his sons, echoing the blessing given to Adam: be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Humanity's role as caretaker of creation is renewed. Number 2 is new instructions. The diet. Humans are now permitted to eat meat, but not the blood, which symbolizes life, justice. God institutes the principle of human accountability for shedding blood, a foundation for justice systems. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. The covenant with Noah. God establishes a covenant with Noah, his descendants, and every living creature. The promise: never again will a flood destroy the earth. And the sign, God sets a rainbow in the clouds as the visible sign of this everlasting covenant, a reminder of his mercy and faithfulness. The incidents of Noah's drunkenness. The chapter ends with the troubling episode. Noah plants a vineyard, becomes drunk, and lies uncovered in his tent. His son Ham sees his nakedness and tells his brother Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Shem and Japheth respectfully cover their father without looking at him. When Noah awakes, he pronounces a curse on Canaan, Ham's son, and blessings on Shem and Japheth. This passage underscores that even the new Adam is flawed, reminding readers that the problem of sin persists despite the flood. Themes across Genesis 7 through 9, judgment and salvation. The flood represents God's judgment on evil, but also his commitment to preserve life and give humanity a fresh start. Cosmic reversal and renewal. The flood undoes creation, and the subsiding waters mark a new creation with Noah as a new Adam. Human responsibility. Commands about blood and justice emphasize human moral accountability. God's covenant faithfulness. The rainbow signifies divine mercy and hope for the future, showing that judgment is not God's last word. And persistence of sin. Even after the flood, sin remains, highlighting the need for a greater redemption still to come. So that's where Jesus would come in later. Anyway, conclusion Genesis 7 through 9 tells a story that is both sobering and hopeful. Humanity's corruption leads to global catastrophe, yet God's grace preserves a remnant and renews creation. The covenant with Noah assures the stability of the world and points to God's larger plan of redemption that will continue throughout the Bible. And then there's just a little infographic that I had ChatGPT put together. It says just the flood begins, Noah and his family and the animals enter the ark. The waters of the flood cover the earth, destroying all living things. Restoration and covenant, the waters recede and Noah leaves the ark. God promises never again to flood the earth and blesses Noah and his family. And then the rainbow and Noah's family, God sets a rainbow on the cloud as a sign of his covenant, basically not to destroy the earth again. But anyway, hopefully you're getting some value out of this. I know I don't have a lot of people watching this stuff, but whatever. I need to refamiliarize myself with a lot of these stuff in the Bible. I've been failing on that. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.